Hi everybody, Gary Williams here for Toolbarn.com's Barn Banter, and our topic today is plumbing. You know, usually I try to start these things off with a little bit of humor, but there really isn't anything all that funny about plumbing, and certainly not with leaky pipes anyway. So we're just going to plunge right ahead, and I'm going to try to get this thing underway before it all goes down the drain and we wind up in hot water. I'm so sorry, I couldn't help myself. We're going to talk about the Ridgid RP340 press tool, which is used for making pipe connections. It's a really cool way to do that without using heat. Then we're going to talk to our Milwaukee representative about the use of PEX tubing and how that's growing and how it's kind of taking the sweat out of plumbing, literally. But first, we're going to talk about how you can see things behind walls that you normally can't see by using inspection cams. They're really useful, so stick with us. Hey, let's say that you've got some kind of a problem behind a wall, whether it's a plumbing leak or an electrical issue or something, and you've got to locate that behind a wall like this. You've got a couple of choices. You can tear that wall down, you know, the whole thing, and you really don't want to do that, right? Or you can go right to the heart of the problem with one of these little things. These are mini inspection cams, and I'll tell you, these things are great. You can snake these through piping if you need to. You can snake them up behind a wall, and you can see a whole lot of things with these little deals. They come with a variety of attachments. Some have lights, most have lights. You can get little magnets, other types of things that'll help you when you're doing inspections in very tight places. Things that you normally can't get your eyes on, these things can, and they have various lengths of snakes that you can use to get those images that you need to get. We've got several different models at Toolbarn.com. This is the Milwaukee brand, this is DeWalt, and this has some different features. It's got a detachable screen if you'd like to take that off and take a look in the convenience of your easy chair when you're working, assuming water's not flowing out from underneath the wall. We've also got what's called a Ridgid Seesnake, S-E-E snake. That's got a 65-foot long snake, and you can really see some things with that thing. So these are useful for a wide variety of applications, more than just plumbing. You can use them for electrical, you can use them for HVAC, you can use them for automotive, a whole lot of things where you need some diagnostic eyes on things and you can't get them anywhere else. So check them out at Toolbarn.com. This is the Ridgid RP340 press tool, and what this thing does is it makes connections in copper and all kinds of other pipes. Now the nice thing about it is that it makes dependable connections without the use of heat, so you kind of eliminate the burning of your hands when you're working with this thing. It'll make up to 400 press connections on one battery charge, which is really pretty nice. I'll tell you one other cool feature about this thing is that it can run off AC current. If you should run out of battery juice, which is not very likely, but if it does, you can run it off AC with an adapter. It rotates, the barrel does, 270 degrees, so that you can get into some pretty tight spots with this thing. It can connect pipe ranging from 1/2 inch and all the way up to 2 inches. So it'll make good connections in all kinds of pipe. It's a really great tool. It'll save you a lot of time, especially if you're working with copper pipe over the old-fashioned way of sweating fittings. So it's really a good piece of equipment, and it's something you ought to look into. And of course, you can find out more about it on Toolbarn.com. If you haven't heard much about PEX plumbing, you're going to, because PEX plumbing is becoming more and more common, and there are several good reasons for that. Brett Wilson from Milwaukee is here to tell us more about that. What is the popularity of PEX plumbing? Why?
Really, PEX is kind of coming more and more to the front face of the plumbing industry because of you know, sustainability, flexibility, ease of install, but also safety. All of them equate to time, labor, and material saves. Traditionally, when moving fresh water, it's done through a copper, right? And the volatility of copper, especially recently, has been very, very high.
Price-wise.
Price-wise. Right. Very quick and drastic dips make it hard for a contractor to spec a job and can keep his profitability.
Very popular to steel, too.
There's a lot of that going on as well.
Yeah.
If you look at the install process, too, copper is very tedious to install. If you look at the amount of equipment here, you need a fuel source, you need a torch tip, solder, flux, sparker, some sort of sanding mechanism, and that's 7 to 8 tools or pieces of equipment before you even join a piece of copper.
For each fitting, for each joint,
fitting,
right?
Each fitting. So it makes it a lot of pieces of equipment, a lot of investments, but when you're working with open flame too, you have a level of safety that for a do-it-yourselfer they may be uncomfortable with, may be quite dangerous. PEX is a flame-free install, and today we're going to talk about Upinar PEX specifically. Milwaukee partnered up with Upinar for a patented memory effect that they have in their PEX. You can see The rigidity of copper makes it very straight lines that require fittings to make changes. PEX is flexible, so you've got some flexibility there to get around angles and run your water lines without having to make cuts and installs and requiring those extra products, but also extra time to get to your end destination.
Right.
And then as far as installing PEX, it's really two tools. We've got a PEX cutter that makes it very simple and easy to cut PEX. And then when you actually want to make the connection, all you need is Milwaukee's expansion tool. You simply take the PEX, blue or red, cold or hot, take the ring on here, insert the tool into the PEX, and upon engaging, what the Upinar PEX does in the tool, it expands it to get a larger inner diameter that you can simply click a fitting into, and then what the time will do is it'll bring it back to its original form, and it'll create a connection that is actually will pressure test and work perfectly for the movement of fresh water.
So great. So you save money because you're not using copper. I would imagine you have fewer pieces to work with because this comes in big coils, right? Copper, you've got to have several pieces, multiple pieces when you are running a line. So you save time, you save money, and overall, what's the dollar proposition? Because you do have to buy some tools.
Yeah, really what we've seen is that the tool will actually pay for itself within a job. Not only the price of the copper that you're going to save, the less fittings you're going to need to make your connections, but if you're talking time, labor, material, dollar for dollar, this is the best investment and quickest install, and that's before you even talk about the safety aspect.
Great, and it will connect to copper if you don't need to run a whole bunch of this stuff, right?
Absolutely. You can use PEX in conjunction with copper for a hybrid water system.
Great. Okay, well, it looks like it's something really reasonable, and you can learn more about these PEX tools on toolbarn.com. Brett, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Hey, no matter what kind of plumbing job you got coming up, we've got the tools you need and the information you need at toolbarn.com. So thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you next time.